Okay, so I just finished reading the Procrastination Puzzle, Solving the Procrastination Puzzle, by Timothy A. Pychyl, and he says that you have to pre-plan to beat your procrastination. So basically, you're planning out what you're going to do, how you're going to react with things that might distract you. You're going to plan out when you're going to do it, and he says that what happens when you give someone a task and give them like a week to do it, you check in with them, and they'll say that they work better under pressure, which is a common excuse that I think I've used before, and things like that. They'll be like, "Oh, I'll be more ready in a couple days or whatever," because we overestimate how difficult things are going to be. That's one of the main themes. I don't think he ever comes out and says that, but that's basically what he's getting at throughout the whole book, is that we totally overestimate how hard things are going to be. And we just have to get started. So when people start later in the week, because they kept pushing it back, they'll start like the last day, and they'll be like, wow, this is easy. I wish that I started out a little bit sooner and had more time. I don't know if they even said sooner. They just said, oh, this is so easy, I wish I had a little more time, which they just squandered all that time that they had up until the point where they actually started, and they lost all that time that they could have had, and it would have been much better and just as easy. Plus, they wouldn't have had all that stress, which of course he talks about how stress will basically kill you. People who are more stressed definitely have more health problems and things like that. So the person does it later in the week, and they just wish, they had more time, which they had to begin with. They just wasted it all. So another thing, to get started, the best thing to do is take the smallest step, basically. The path of least resistance, whatever is easiest. So if you decide that you want to write a book, you might start with just planning out all the chapters of the book and not actually writing them. And then you'll go a little bit further, and you'll be like, chapter 3 seems like that'll be interesting to write. And then you could write chapter 3 instead of chapter 1. Once you start writing chapter 3, you get on a roll, and then you're like, okay, let me try chapter 6 now and 1, and eventually you decide it wasn't at all as hard as you expected, and you get through writing an entire book. So basically, take the smallest step, build momentum by always taking the smallest steps to everything. At the same time, your willpower is finite, so you have to be careful about what you're spending it on, but he says that it's a muscle and that you can build up your willpower. He says a good way to start this, a very small way to start this, is eating only with your left hand instead of your right hand, or whichever hand is less dominant. So it's just like a little tiny way to build up your willpower. You're exercising that muscle, and it seems like a small step. You could build from there, and eventually you'll have much bigger willpower and be able to do much bigger things. With that momentum, everything just kind of comes together, and you'll be able to do much, much more. But everyone struggles with this, and he says that you'll never completely, always have enough willpower to do everything, of course. But he thinks that it can be trained, and definitely momentum is a big part of it.